The following is a presentation of the Best Station. The views and comments made in the following program do not necessarily represent the views and comments of the Best Station.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fast Pitch 2016 early off-season preview show pre-spring training. Say that in one big bite. I am your co-host, MC Brown.
I am Eric Lindenberg.
And welcome to part two. This is now going to be the National League portion of our preview show. As we record this is 40 days out from spring training, 82 days from the Major League opening day, Dr. Eric.
82, I guess you're right.
Yes, sir. And social media, we can be reached at The Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Fast Pitch, under the umbrella of our good person, a longtime friend,
Craig Best.
He is the best, indeed, and thebeststation.net is where we can be found, our show. If you're listening to this on YouTube or hopefully on thebeststation.net, it's all thanks to Craig Best's opportunity he gave us. To you fans, we're here, and we can't thank Craig enough for that. So, we're going to jump right in, folks. We have a chock full of a lot of Major League preview stuff. We did the American League last year. This is the National League's time, and we're going to jump right in, because we're starting in the East.
With the Atlanta Braves.
And we're going east to west, folks. Not the other way, but we're starting with the Braves, as Dr. Eric said. And they made some moves.
They made some moves,
right?
But I don't see them as positive moves. You give away your top starter.
Oh, I don't know. But they finished fourth last year, 67-95. And their moves, basically, they made a big trade, getting rid of Andre Elton Simmons, who is now a Los Angeles Angel.
And Shelby Miller, who is now an Arizona Diamondback.
And they received Ender Inciarte back. As far as prospects, obviously, we're not going to list all those because we're previewing this. Maybe some will break through, but Eric Aybar will also be playing, at short. So we're going to jump right in. In left field, I have, Hector Oliveira?
Yes.
Center field, Ender Inciarte. Right field, currently, I know there's trade rumors as well. They're trying to trade, but he's still there. Nick Markakis. And there's Michael Bourne, Nick Swisher, former Cleveland Indians, still in the mix. I know those guys are also on the block, but as of right now, they're in the depth of the outfield for the Braves as we record this. And Garcia at third. How do you say his first name? Adonis?
Adonis Garcia.
Adonis
Great
Garcia.
name, Adonis.
Eric Aybar at short. And Jace Peterson at second. Had a nice year last year for him. Freddie Freeman at first.
Freddie Freeman, I think the offense will be built around Freddie Freeman.
There is no question about that. What do you know about Adonis? You have any early indications?
Early
He's
indications.
Enigma?
He's not an enigma. They brought him up earlier this year. He performed well. They expect a lot
year?
more out of it. Yes, last year. MC, thank you.
2016, this year, sir.
Yes. They expect a lot out of him. They really do.
Yeah, he's penciled in there, so we're gonna be looking for him. No DHs, obviously, for us here, so it's going to be a little bit easier because we go right to catcher. AJ is back, AJ Pierzynski, but they got the backup, the former White Sox player, Tyler Flowers, who we failed to mention.
Pierzynski, is that guy ever going to retire?
I don't know, but these are two former White Sox catchers they have there, so what do we know? And this is where it gets a little dicey for him. Trading away Shelby Miller bumps up Julio Teheran.
Julio Teheran is their top starter now.
Teheran is their ace. Bud Norris, isn't he the former Baltimore Oriole?
Former
right?
Oriole, yeah.
I'm not sure if that might be a move.
Best known for hitting Torrey Hunter with a pitch. That's a sad thing. That's what he's best known for.
Matt Whistler, I believe, right, is the third. Williams Perez at four. And how do you say? Was it Michael Foltewitz, possibly?
Michael Foltewitz.
Foltewitz and a couple other guys in the mix. Grillia will be ready for the start. Could be, they should say, with his Achilles. We know that he was injured, but Onaldis Vizcaino, is that correct?
Onaldis Vizcaino
is the closer, and he performed well for me at the end of my fantasy season. Mm-hmm. Not quite enough to beat you, but finishing fourth last year, I have them fourth again. I don't know about you.
Yeah, and I have them fourth again also. They haven't made positive moves, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's all building towards that new stadium. That's pretty much what this is all about. I think they've made no bones about it. The fans have to be patient. I think eventually when that is launched, you're going to see the Braves probably return to prominence, but they're waiting.
Yeah, they're waiting.
And the fans have to wait, and that's just really what's the bones about it, I guess. There's just really nothing you can do. So the Braves at 4, in our opinion, we share. So we're going to move on to the Miami Marlins. Last year finishing third at 71 and 91. And I don't have any major moves for them. They've lost their closer, obviously, Cishek or
Steve Cishek.
Cishek. And Cishek, I'm trying to remember where he went. Looking at my notes, but Cishek also is in the American League. I'll have to go to our last show to find that out. Saltalamacchia.
Jared Saltalamacchia.
He's a Detroit Tiger, I know that, so that's for sure. And that's pretty much it. I don't really have any major moves as far as right now at the current time for the Marlins, but we're going to run down their team here. Christian Yelich in left field. Marcell Ozuna in center. Or Ozuna, I should say. Giancarlo Stanton, so should be ready for camp.
Annual most valuable player candidate every year.
Every year. Cut short by injury last year with his broken leg, I believe, right?
And if you remember, it was cut short in 2014 when he got hit in the face by your friend, your favorite pitcher, Mike Fiers.
Mike Fiers, that's one of your classic favorites there.
Yeah.
Martin Prado, right? At
Martin
third base?
Prado, yes.
Martin Prado. Adine, I'm going to let you say this name at shortstop.
Adine Hechavarria.
Adine Hechavarria.
Top defensive shortstop.
One of my favorite players in the game today, D. Gordon at second.
D. Gordon is only getting better.
And I think last year there was rumors when the Dodgers traded away, you were like,
Yeah, I've become a big D. Gordon supporter.
And you were proven wrong, as D actually had a really great year last year as well.
He won the batting title, led the league in stolen bases.
Yes, sir, and you cannot argue with that. Justin Bauer at first base, and we have JT Realmuto, one of your favorite players.
JT Realmuto, huh?
Yeah,
what a guy.
And Jeff Mathis backing him up.
Right, longtime veteran Jeff Mathis came up with the Angels.
This is where, yes, sir. This is where it gets a little. We got a top great pitcher coming back for full season after his half season last year, Jose Fernandez. A lot of scuttlebutt around rumors of trades, but they would not move him.
They didn't pull the trigger. They wanted, from the Dodgers, Corey Seager, Jock Peterson, Julio Urias. The Dodgers never going to part with them, so Fernandez stayed.
Fernandez, also courted by a lot of teams. They're just, if they want that type of package, not going to happen. Tom Kohler, I believe, second place. Second starter, Jared Cozart. Adam Conley. And Justin Nicolino rounds it out, I guess, potentially in that fifth spot with closer A.J. Ramos, who's pretty solid.
He had 32 saves last year.
Yeah, solid closer for them. I don't see them moving from this slot.
Well, let me just tell you one thing that you didn't mention.
What's that?
Very intangible thing. New manager, Don Mattingly.
Very true.
New hitting coach, Barry Bonds.
Yeah, I know. Can we believe that Barry Bonds back in the game?
Back in baseball. But Mattingly has won 3 division championships in a row. He goes to the Marlins, and I'm a believer in the Marlins. Where do you place them?
I have them third.
Third, just like last year?
Just like last year.
I will surprise you here. I picked the Miami Marlins to win this division.
I beg to differ with you, and fans, we want to hear from you guys, so let us know if you agree with this. He's going out on a limb. He is a believer in Mattingly.
Yes, I am. And the team itself, strong team.
Believes.
If they get some pitching, they're going to win.
I don't think they have enough pitching, personally, so I don't know where you're getting that first place.
Well, some of these young guys will surprise you.
I don't know. I won't say gladly because I'm a huge Marlins fan, but I'll have to eat crow there. I don't know where you got that, but going on a limb with your bold predictions, Doctor of Baseball. And as we move on from that, we're going to be going to the New York Mets. And they acquired Neil Walker. I believe you said it was free agency.
First free agent, one of the first free agents signed in the offseason.
And Cabrera from the Padres is their shortstop. How do you say his name? Oswaldo
Cabrera.
Right now, they've not re-signed Yoenis Cespedes. He is potentially a re-sign candidate. You said you think strongly that they have to.
I think they have to. They have to compete next year.
There is a gaping hole in that in outfield. Daniel Murphy gone to the rival
Washington Nationals.
So he has made them stronger. So I think you're right. I think they're going to have to, because as of right now, as we look at their outfield, we got Michael Conforto, Juan Lagares, the ever-present Curtis Granderson, also rounding out that outfield currently. Lucas Duda at first base. On the other hot corner, David Wright. The aforementioned Cabrera at short, and Walker, the other free agent, signing second baseman of the New York Mets currently, and he's a big bat. You can't underscore that.
Travis d'Arnaud
is behind the plate with Kevin Plawecki as the backup, who played most of the year last year.
Yeah.
And this is where I think you're just absolutely nuts to pick the Miami Marlins. Sorry, Marlins fans. This rotation starting with Jacob deGrom as the ace, Noah Syndergaard, fully healthy, Matt Harvey, Steven Matz, and potentially later on in the year, Zach Wheeler, who's coming back from surgery, may not be ready, so Bartolo Colon probably will be the fifth starter.
And I don't argue that may be the best staff in baseball.
Yes.
But you need offense, too. And Bartolo Colon, pitching in, what is this, his seventh decade in the major leagues?
Fifth starter, though, sir. Fifth
starter. Questionable whether Steven Matz can repeat what he did last. Well, it's not questionable. He had a 2.25 ERA in the minors, 2.27 in the majors. Zach Wheeler is rehabbing his elbow. So
not everybody believes in Mattingly as much as you do. Jeurys Familia rounds out their team. This was the team who finished number one with a 90-72 record last year. I'm going to partially agree with you. The rotation is great, but as of right now, I have to have them second because I believe the Washington Nationals rotation is pretty strong myself, and I think they have a lot more offense behind them. So
I put the Mets in third place.
You have the Mets in third.
Yeah. I don't see them repeating. I don't see them finishing in second place either, and I'll tell you why in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I believe that rotation is just too strong to go any lower than second, but it will remain to be seen if you are correct. Maybe it's this team as we go into the next team, the Philadelphia Phillies at 63-99.
I think the Philadelphia Phillies are the Oakland A's of the National League, but
in baseball,
the
worst team in baseball, and they finished fifth, and traded away their young closer Ken Giles
to the Astros.
And I know they got some prospects back. One of them including
Brett Oberholzer.
Actually, not but Mark Appel.
That's right, Mark Appel, who was the number one draft pick.
Oberholzer is actually, he's a little bit more advanced. He's going to be into the rotation. I think as a free agent, they signed Charlie Morton.
Yes, from the
Pittsburgh Pirates. And that's pretty much it. They didn't do too much. They're bringing back a very young team. And we're going to round out with the outfield. Put it up with the outfield. In left field, we have Althier. How do you say his first name there?
Althier.
Aaron
Althier.
Aaron Althier. Odubel, I think he says Odubel Herrera. And Peter Bourjos, I believe is.
Peter Bourjos, the only veteran on that team, played for the Cardinals and the Angels. Solid player.
He's going to round out that outfield there. Very young. Herrera, definitely one of the great young players in the game. This player, too, runner-up. I believe he was a runner-up in the Rookie of the Year for the National League. Mikael Franco at third base. Freddie Galvis, another great young player at shortstop. Cesar Hernandez at second base. He has played all over. Some of it, I believe he was also in outfield a couple years ago, too.
Yes.
And Ryan Howard rounds out the infield, the constant on that team.
The $25 million man.
Yes, that they cannot move. Cameron Rupp, correct? Is that
Cameron Rupp?
And Carlos Ruiz round out the backstop there. And we have a rotation that really going to have some young players, but it's also going to have to probably take its licks, starting with, is it Jeremy Hellickson?
Jeremy Hellickson.
He's the ace now of the staff. Cole Hamels, obviously, is long gone. Charlie Morton, the ever aforementioned as we did, the former Pittsburgh Pirate. Aaron Nola, one of the younger starters. He's
He
going to be
was 6-2
3.
this year in his debut.
Not bad, not bad. Eichhoff, how do you say his
Jared Eichhoff.
Jared Eichhoff is the 4th starter right now, and Oberholzer could be the 5th. We got a few candidates for there. Velasquez. Is it Dylan Hernandez? How do you say is the closer, potentially closer candidate is
Dylan Hernandez.
Dylan Hernandez, yeah. So Ken Giles traded, so Dylan will have to be the closer by default here. I don't have them moving from 5th place.
Nor do I.
And they're going to stay in the cellar, probably barring any type of miracle season from them. And they have to rebuild. It's pretty clear. You're not going to jump from 63-99 to win this division with that type of talent they're facing. Especially from this team here, our final team here in the in the National League East, the Washington Nationals, who made a trade. Drew Storen for Ben Revere. That's one of the major moves. Daniel Murphy signed away from their rivals.
Boy, that was huge.
Mr. Clutch, definitely huge, especially since a couple other moves that they had looking for. I know they were in the Ben Zobrist hunt, and along with a couple other players they're looking at. I think those are a couple good moves, solid moves.
And this team
Washington national team.
Can't dispute that this team is very, very solid, very tough competitors.
Oh, without question. We got Jason Worth slotted in left field. Ben Revere, as we mentioned, in center field. Michael Taylor backing him up. And then, of course, Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper, returning National League Most Valuable Player.
MVP. You got it. And that's a huge bat. This man, if he can recapture his rookie season, Anthony Rendon playing third, if he bounced back from injuries, he'd be a huge, huge plus to their lineup as well.
Yeah, he can drive the offense when he's healthy.
Definitely, and he's going to have to with no Denard Span leading off now. He's at third. Danny Espinosa is at shortstop. Daniel Murphy, aforementioned, now Mr. Clutch at second base. We didn't mention before Stephen Drew also on their team, too. He's also a backup there at second base for those Washington Nationals, and we have Ryan Zimmerman rounding off at first base, the former third baseman.
Ryan Zimmerman, his injuries are becoming an annual concern.
And much to the chagrin of Al Jazeera, he rounds out playing first base for them.
That's right.
And
the Al Jazeera Network, I wonder what their predictions are.
Yeah, I don't know, but I don't think anybody cares.
Yeah.
Wilson Ramos, the catcher, and Jose Lobaton will probably both return in that slot. They're slotted. And here, my friend, is why I have them picked at the top here. Max Scherzer, the ace of the staff. Steven Strasburg at second. Gio Gonzalez, the great young flamethrower for them, at third in a rotation. Tanner Rourke is fourth. And Joe Ross is rounding out the fifth spot. They got their spots. They know what they're doing. Jonathan Papelbon, one of our favorite players here at the Fast Pitch. He is their closer. Hopefully he doesn't choke anybody this year. And
instead of choking someone in the dugout, let him choke somebody at the grocery store for taking more than 15 items through the express lane. Jonathan Papelbon, I can't believe he's still there.
I don't think that was a real story. But Jonathan Papelbon, hopefully under control a little bit. One of the reasons they traded Drew Storen is that they have him. They're going to believe in him. And I hope that if they can keep their continuity together with their team, because they kind of collapsed down the stretch. This was a team 83-79, obviously 7 wins behind the Mets, but they still finished second. So I think the moves were good. I think their pitching is solid.
I joke about Papelbon, but he was a very strong closer for the Red Sox, and there's no reason he can't regain that.
I believe that, starting the year with them, and hopefully the chemistry is there. I have them number one, I think. Until the Mets make that move to replace Cespedes, I think clearly right now they're my number one team in this division.
Okay, and I've got Washington number 2, close behind the Marlins. It'll be a tough race start to finish, but I have them second.
Okay, so just to recap, last year's finish had the New York Mets, the National League champions, at 1. These Nationals we just discussed at 2, the Marlins at 3, the Braves at 4, and the Phillies at 5. Myself have the Nationals number 1, Mets 2, Marlins 3, Braves 4, and the Phillies in the basement.
And I've got the Miami Marlins winning the division, followed closely by Washington, then the Mets, Atlanta Braves, and the Philadelphia Phillies.
And if you disagree with Dr. Eric or myself, you can tweet us at the Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, Facebook.com/the Fast Pitch, and let us know all and any feedback you have, good or bad. And we got to pay the bills, my friend.
All right, time for a station
And
break.
It's time for a station break. We'll be back with the National League Central.
Be right back.
The Fast Pitch will return in just one moment.
Here you see one of America's foremost athletes in action. That same famous athlete has a word of caution for young boys and girls.
Hi, this is Willie Mays. Baseball is a game of playing to win, but play it as safe as so is life. You can play hard, but play it safe. If you kids find anything that looks like those, don't touch them. Those are blasting caps. Remember now, don't touch them. Blasting caps are used almost every place. Explosives are used, like in a construction work. But you protect your arms and hands and legs and save your eyes. If you see a blasting cap, remember now, don't touch them. Tell the police or a fireman, wherever it is. Have fun like I do with those and not with these.
You are listening to thebeststation.net, home of the best station, the best music for the best audience. Now featuring the best podcasts for the best audience.
We made it, Lieutenant! Shipment completed as ordered, Colonel. Nice job, Lieutenant. We were getting anxious. Ah, beech nut peppermint gum.
Yes, sir. It's worth waiting for. The chance to enjoy Beech Nut Peppermint Gum. Like a cool breeze on a hot, dusty day, Beech Nut Peppermint Gum refreshes you like nothing else can. That's because Beech Nut Peppermint is made with a combination of 2 refreshing mints. There's tantalizing aroma mint to freshen your breath and sparkle your smile. And delicious flavor mint to wake up your taste, your whole sense of enjoyment. So look for Beech Nut Peppermint Gum in the familiar bright yellow pack. Look for it at your favorite gum counter. And reach for Beech Nut.
And we are back. 40 days to spring training.
That's right.
82 days.
To opening day.
Opening day, my friend. And here we are back with our 2016 preview show. Before we get into NL Central,
Yeah,
you
I
had
had
something
to-
to mention about the Washington Nationals.
Yes,
Go
I
ahead.
forgot to mention, and this can make a difference, a huge difference in where they end up. Dusty Baker, the new Nationals manager, great success over the years with every team he's been with. So Dusty takes the helm of the Nationals.
That's pretty fresh news. And as I was trying to figure out for you good folks, the former Marlin closer, Shishak, is the closer now of the Seattle Mariners.
Right.
That's what I could not remember. And that's probably because Benoit, I thought, was going to be a surefire closer. But a little bit of business we took care of there. We're going to jump right in now to the Chicago Cubs. We're going to start off the NL Central. And the Cubs, they finished at third place last year with a 97-65 record. Can you imagine that? A team, 97 wins, and they finish in third.
They had the third best record in the National League. And
Yeah,
finished in
they
third.
did. That strong, super strong division here, and but I'm going to say they made some big moves in the
They made
offseason.
some huge moves.
Huge moves. Ben Zobrist, one of them. He now mans second base for them. John Lackey is now in the rotation. I believe their third starter now officially.
Right.
Jason Hayward. Now
Biggest move they made, Jason Hayward. He can be a game changer.
slotted for center field for the Cubbies. He also acquired Adam Warren in a deal that got rid of longtime Cub Starlin Castro.
That's right.
And Dexter Fowler also will be gone. He will not be returning. I don't know where he's going to find work. He's finding a little bit difficult. He refused the Cub offer early on, and he got basically booted out because Hayward's in center now.
Right.
And Kyle Schwarber mans left field currently for them. He's slotted in left field with Hayward obviously in center. Jorge Soler in right field. Anthony Rizzo at first. Chris Bryant, the National League Rookie of the Year, mans third base.
That's right.
Addison Russell at shortstop, and the aforementioned Ben Zobrist at second. For the Cubbies catching, your longtime favorite,
Miguel Montero.
Dave Ross is also the John Lester catcher. Kyle Schwarber just in case. Obviously he's going to be in left field. Rotation now looks, I I would put Jake Arrieta first. I know some of the depth charts still have Lester. I'd say it's the Cy Young Award-winning Jake Arrieta.
And everyone all our listeners know that he was Cy Young Award winner in name. The real winner was Zach Greinke. But let's not go into
This
that.
is just ridiculous talk now by Dr. Eric Lenneberg. Jake Arrieta, clearly the Cy Young and number one ace of the Cubs, I think. John Lester slots 2. John Lackey at 3, Kyle Hendricks 4, and Jason Hamill.
That is a tough
rounds up
staff.
5.
Tough
There's
staff.
Pretty good staff there. Unfortunately, the Cubs hitters ran into the Mets rotation, but with the additions of Zobrist, who actually beat up on those Mets in the World Series, and Hayward, the St. Louis Cardinals former outfielder, is, I think, enough. And we'll find out if it will be. But Hector Rondon is the closer of the Cubbies currently. I don't think there's any reason for them to panic on him, but I think he's there if there's a mid-season move to be made and the Cubs have trade. There could be a closer. I think.
Do they have Jason Mott ready to back him
No,
up?
Mott is no longer with the Cubbies. No. I forget who he ended up with.
I said that just to check you and see if you knew what you were talking
did a good
about.
job. He is no longer there, but I think I was surprised the Yankees didn't include Miller maybe in the deal. Maybe the Cubs couldn't make it happen, but maybe because the Chapman deal obviously didn't materialize in time. But still, I think Rondon is his closer's job to lose. So,
yeah, it is.
I got him number 1. I think they're going to, with these moves easily, I think Cardinals with their loss of Lynn for the year, I think they're going to fall a few slots, possibly. I got the Cubbies at number 1 winning the division.
And I have the Cubbies number 2.
Oh, wow.
Number 2. And I think they're going to be a strong year. And as number 2, they may have the second best record in the National League again. But
Possible
we'll see.
wild card under your watch. But I got them number 1 winning the division. So I think the moves were done what they needed to do. So we're going to jump right into the next team, the Cincinnati Reds, who finished 5th last year at 64-98. Dump some guys for prospects, so I don't think they're going to be competing anytime soon.
They're in a rebuilding mode.
Yeah, the one of note I think to be named is was it Scott Schebler?
Scott Schebler, they picked up from the
Dodgers system in that Frazier deal, which they lost Todd Frazier to the White Sox willingly because they traded him, of course. Arnoldus Chapman traded to the New York Yankees for a handful of prospects, none of which I believe are on the starting list for this year. Brian Pena is now a St. Louis Cardinal, so they're looking at Adam Duvall, I believe, here in left field.
Right.
Billy Hamilton in center.
Let me mention Billy Hamilton now, the leadoff man who is a stolen base. He finished second to D. Gordon last year.
Yes, sir.
One of the reasons that I think the Reds didn't win and won't win with this lineup, Billy Hamilton hits about 250, but as a leadoff hitter, his on-base percentage was 298. You've got to be close to 4 as a leadoff hitter to be leading your team.
Maybe Schebler will eventually replace him.
It's
might be safe
possible.
to say.
Schebler's a power hitter, too.
Or they trade Jay Bruce first. He rounds out the outfield and right. We got Joey Votto, the huge power bat at first. Eugenio Suarez at third. Zach Cozart at short. Brandon Phillips, also a name mentioned in trade rumors, still at second base for the Reds. Devin Mesoraco at catcher. We got potentially backups, Barnhart, Cabrera there. And here's where it is. Tommy John surgery, recovering Homer Bailey. I think they have him slotted in to possibly start the year. So we got him, Anthony DeSclafani at second. This guy came along, Raul Iglesias.
Raul Iglesias, second half of the year last year, he had a 77-19 strikeout to walk ratio.
Yeah, can you believe that? Third in the rotation if Homer Bailey comes back successfully is John Lamb. John Lamb also at number 4, and what is the Moscott potentially as their 5th, right?
Moscott at 5th.
Moscott or 5th. And you have a candidate for the closer. Right now I see Stevenson as their potential closer. Who do you have?
Robert Stevenson. I have Jumbo Diaz.
Jumbo Diaz, you think is going to actually be their closer?
Possibly. He'll do a lot of closing. I love Jumbo Diaz.
Or you just love the name Jumbo?
I love the name Jumbo, yeah.
So can he beat, Robert Stevenson from that closer role?
Robert Stevenson or J.J. Hoover.
Yeah, so one of these guys, but will be closing for this team. Finished 5th. I don't see enough for them to get out of the cellar, I'm sorry.
I see them finishing fourth.
Yeah, it was either fifth or fourth, and
Yeah.
and I don't see them leaving the cellar, and it's going to be between them and this next team we're going to review. The Milwaukee Brewers, finishing 68-94 last year, fourth, and they lost Adam Lind, as we had mentioned, and K-Rod. K-Rod going to the Detroit Tigers. Lind, I believe.
Lind went to the Los Angeles Seattle Mariners.
Seattle Mariners, that's what I thought. So, Mariners getting Lind. So replacing him was Chris Carter.
And I think that was a good move.
I think that's a good move too. They also have Jonathan Villar from those Houston Astros
Right.
replacing him, and Danny Santana, the former Minnesota Twin,
That's
one of your
right.
favorite
So
players.
Their youth move is in full swing for the Brewers, but they're picking up some veterans who maybe not big names, but they will contribute.
Yes, and they're bringing back a lot of their guys. Chris Davis in left. Santana now will man center field for them. Ryan Braun returns in right field.
Can I mention Chris Davis?
Yes.
He had a breakout year in 2014, but I really believe he belongs in the American League. He was made to be a DH because with Chris Davis in the outfield, it's not just a job, it's an adventure.
Yes, well, he's in left for him now, so
Yeah.
you might be right. Villar, the former shortstop, I believe, of the Houston Astros,
Right.
at third now, because Jean Segura is their shortstop. A great young player there. Still, I think, a bounce back probably for him
Right, needed,
from his
yeah.
rookie. Scooter Gannett, scrappy young player, had a great year last year for
did.
them. Chris Carter, obviously, rounding out first. Now he's back from injury. Jonathan Lucroy, right?
Jonathan Lucroy, being there for a full season, he will make a difference.
I think so too, and that's one of the reasons I had them or I do. And it was Martin Maldonado possibly backing them up. Looks like their rotation, which is the other thing I think that's in suspect. We have Willie Peralta, right, as their number one. Jeff Nelson,
Jimmy Nelson.
Jimmy Nelson. I'm sorry.
And he had flashes of brilliance last season.
Jimmy Nelson. Number two, Tyler
Youngman
is how you say that. Zach Davies, 4 after Youngman, and Matt Garza.
Matt Garza still hanging
fifth
on.
slot, potentially still there.
But he's wearing down.
And getting jiggy with it is a new closer of the Milwaukee Brewers, Will Smith.
Will Smith. Will is able to take time during the baseball season to fly in there every 3 or 4 days, close with the Brewers, and then he gets back to making the Men in Black movies.
Oh, yeah. And summertime. Will Smith. We want him to succeed, folks, just so we can keep saying his name. I have them at 4. I think they finish 4th. They stay 4th because I think from top to bottom, the Reds have got a lot of good young hitters too. I think the Brewers are superior, and I think they're still going to finish 4th.
You could be right. I've got the Brewers dead last, but Brewers and Reds, either one. But I've got the Brewers last.
Surprisingly, since you've worked for the Brewers,
I worked for the Brewers many years, but I worked there during the Prince Fielder, Carlos Lee years, the Zach Greinke years in Milwaukee. So
Greg Best will not be, our great longtime friend and producer, he will not be happy to hear this.
you might be surprised that Craig might agree with me.
Oh, we'll have to ask Craig. And you can also message Craig at the facebook.com/thebeststation. We are now under the umbrella of thebeststation.net. Just if we're not remiss if we don't mention that to you, at the Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, facebook.com/The Fast Pitch. That's where we can be reached. I don't know if we told you at the start of the show, but we want your tweets. We want your messages. We want everything and anything MLB related. Throw it at us. Because when we return with our final show after this preview show, we're going to be throwing trivia at you.
That's
we're going to
right.
be throwing everything at you, and there's going to be some good prizes that the doctor is going to throw at you. So we want that feedback. Where do you think the Brewers are going to finish? Are you on board with me, Dr. Eric? Craig Best still to be heard from to find out his predictions as well, and we will get them for you because Craig is also associated with the Brewers, and I don't think he'll be happy with that. Personally, I think Craig is going to be after you once he hears where you pick the Brewers.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll find out. But here's this team. The Pittsburgh Pirates finished second last year, and with a 98-64 record.
It's just incredible to me to win 98 games, finish second.
Losing in the wild card to the Chicago Cubs.
Right.
Yeah, what a this whole division is just for the first 3 teams, I should say, of this division is one to be looked at and watched closely because the the Pirates are going to be strong, I think, too. They did lose Neil Walker, who I believe was pretty strong second baseman, who, as we had mentioned, Neil Walker with the New York Mets, and Charlie Morton bolted to the other side of Philadelphia, and he is no longer with this team as well. They did bring in John Jaso to play first base, longtime catcher, and Jonathan Neese from the New York Mets.
That's
so
right.
now he is now on the Pittsburgh
And the Mets
Pirates.
had Neese a good starter, but they have no room for him.
No room for Neese, and he had his struggles last year too.
Yeah.
So maybe the Pirates can turn him around. They bring back Starling Marte in left, Andrew McCutcheon in center, and Gregory Polanco in right field.
Solid
Definitely
outfield.
had a very good year too. Bounced back, I think, after had a great end of 2014. He is also in the outfield, and Kang should be return early in the year. I don't know if he's going to start the year.
He will. Young Ho Kang will be back after he took that slide from Chris Coughlin of the Cubs. It took him out, and a good old hardball slide. So nothing
Yes.
wrong with that.
I've heard you complain about that slide in the past.
Well, when it was Chase Utley got blamed for the bad slides, just remember Coughlin did it too.
Yeah, Chase Utley and Coughlin. Kong definitely slated to return early.
Yeah, his
in
rookie
the
year was
season.
ruined by that knee injury. So.
Yeah, that was a shame. Jordy Mercer at short, and Josh Harrison, if he's not filling in for Kong at the start of the year, is going to be their second baseman, folks. I think with Rodriguez in that mix,
Right.
it's Sean Rodriguez, right?
Right.
He'll be in backup, of Kong until he returns. Jaso slotted for first.
Although Pedro Alvarez, is he not with him still?
No, Pedro Alvarez is gone.
Oh, okay. He must have went somewhere the Al Jazeera network would tell us.
Well, hopefully not. We don't want to hear from them. Michael Morse is actually now their, I think, backup first baseman as Jaso is first. I think Alvarez might still be a free agent.
Oh, okay.
He's still on the
Okay.
market.
Michael Morris, who's setting a record playing for every major league team over
That's
the course
right.
of his career.
You're going to love this guy. He's back for a full year. Francisco Cervelli.
Francisco Cervelli had a tremendous breakout season in 2015. I love this guy. He can do it
Yes.
all.
I believe he was with the start. I think
He had 5 triples last year as
Yes.
a catcher.
For a catcher unheard of. And it was Cameron Stewart backing him up?
Chris Stewart.
Chris Stewart, I'm sorry. Yeah, so Cervelli's going to be their starting catcher,
Right.
folks. There's no question. Great year last year. And he is the battery mate of this rotation here, starting with Garrett Cole, the ace, who
man.
could not edge out the Cy Young Award-winning Jake Arrieta in the wild card matchup.
No, Garrett Cole didn't pitch a no-hitter. That's why.
Well, he just wasn't quite as good. Francisco Lariano is the number 2. Jake Locke?
Jeff Locke.
Jeff Locke.
Not to be confused with the Jeff Locke who is the holder for the Minnesota Vikings that cost them the game on Sunday when he held the ball laces in.
Jeff Locke, who Dr. Eric is comparing to a holder in the NFL. And Jonathan Neese at number 4, Ryan Vogelsong 5. They got their starting rotation. Mark
Melanson, best closer in the league last year.
One of the best pitchers in this league, obviously closing for them. So, 2 last year. Pretty solid rotation there. This is going to be tough for me because, this could go, I think, either way. I have them, too, again this year.
Number
I think
2?
they're going to come back because I've dropped the St. Louis Cardinals. Obviously, you know where they're going to face if that's the case. So I have them number 2. I think the Pirates will still be in that mix. I think even with the loss of Neil Walker.
I'm picking the Pirates to be Central Division champions this year. Number 1.
It's a good, solid staff. I don't think you can go wrong. I think they're going to be up there, and it's just a great young team. So they're going to be in this mix. And that means the only team left in this division, folks, the dreaded St. Louis Cardinals, who finished number 1, 100 wins, folks, only 62 losses. And they had some changes. The least of which John Jay, not to throw him under the bus, but he is now a San Diego Padre. But John Lackey and Jason Hayward, now a division rival Chicago Cubs, both of them, bolting to the north side. Huge loss.
Very huge.
Specifically
Jason
in
Hayward, everybody
sure.
knows what a star he is. John Lackey flies under the radar, but he always goes 7 innings. He always wins 15 games.
You win your fantasy
That's right.
championship,
John
John
Lackey.
Lackey.
That's
Can't
right.
throw him under the bus for sure like you do Scott Kazmir constantly. notable additions, obviously Mike Leake will replace Lackey, which is probably an upgrade, I'm going to
It
say.
is an upgrade. Leake, again, is an innings eater. He's a good hitting pitcher, also a graduate of Arizona State University. That was our trivia question last week.
Yes, he was. And Brian Pena bolts from the Reds, and he now will probably be the starter until Molina comes back, if Molina isn't quite ready to start the year.
Right.
He had underwent thumb surgery, so he possibly could be, but Pena will start if he doesn't, and Jed Gyorko will be.
Jed Gyorko, former Padre.
Will was also one of the additions, I believe, as a backup midfielder for him. So we have Matt Holliday in left field, Randall, how do you say his last name? Grichuk in center. The great Stephen Piscotty, who had a great 2015, specifically for you. You had picked him up. I think I may have had him a little bit too. He is in right, had great playoffs as well. I think he beat up on your Dodgers, didn't he?
Let's not get into that. That's ancient history.
Oh, I don't want to mention any of that, do I? Matt Carpenter at third. We got
Johnny Peralta.
I don't know why I keep forgetting Johnny's first name. Peralta at short. Colton Wong at second. Brandon Moss, all or nothing, at first. Matt Adams as a backup, used to be the starter. As we mentioned, Yadier Molina, if his thumb is healed, he will be the starter, or he will definitely be. Brian Pena will only fill in for him at this point. We got the returning Adam Wainwright, who made his return, surprisingly enough, in the postseason last year.
Miraculous comeback from that injury.
Yeah, incredible pitcher. As much as he's a rival of my Cubbies, I cannot sell him short. Wainwright, one of the best pitchers in baseball. Jaime Garcia, number 2. Michael Waka, who had a great breakout year, at 3. It's hard to sell this team short. Great rotation. Mike Leake at 4. Carlos Martinez rounds out the... Can you imagine Carlos Martinez?
Who has
great
electric
year.
stuff. He could be an ace on another team.
5th starter for them. So this is hard to sell these guys short. Lance Lynn will miss the year, unfortunately, due to Tommy John surgery. And here's one of the main factors for them. Trevor Rosenthal, lights out. Closer.
Oh, man.
As we read this, hard to believe I picked him third. But unfortunately, I think that just says so much about the Cubs and Pirates at this point.
I picked him third also because I believe the loss of Lackey and Hayward will make the difference.
As of right now, we don't know. It is possible between now, spring training, the season. There are still some big bats. You got Upton, you got Cespedes still out there, Chris Davis, who was rumored. If Chris Davis is signed by the St. Louis Cardinals, if his price comes down or they find a way in there, and you put him at first, I think I'm going to have to change my predictions. But as of right now, I have the Cardinals at 3.
Me as well.
And that will round out our National League Central roundup here. So we got one more division to go over, and we're going to have to do it after our station break, though, sir.
Okay, let's pay the bills. And again, we will be right back.
We'll be right back. You are listening to The Best Station, the best music for the best audience. Find us at our home, www.thebeststation.net.
We've asked you to put on a short sock, the length most men wear, and Burlington's new mid-length sock. The mid-length uses Lycra in a very special way so it covers your shins, yet can't slip. Can't get that sloppy look. You can't make it fall down. Can't make Burlington's new mid-length sock fall down. Your shiny shins will never show. Burlington socks, just one part of Burlington Industries. If it's anything to do with fabric, we do it at Burlington, and we do more of it than anyone in the world.
You see the guy blowing that bubble? That's my nephew, Timmy. I'm Johnny Benton, and I'm having an off day. We're both chewing Bubble Fudge, the new soft bubble gum with a super long-lasting fudge flavor. Bubble Fudge is great if you're a pro like Timmy, and the flavor is so chocolatey for so long you'll love it, even if you're a little leaguer like Johnny Benton.
Bubble Fudge from Super Bazooka. Even if you can't blow bubbles, you can fudge it.
It's just not your game, Uncle John.
And we are back with the final division of the National League here on our 2016 early off-season preview show. Pre-spring training, of course, as we record this. We could be reached at The Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Fast Pitch. We could be found on thebeststation.net. Special thank you to our producer, Craig Best. And we have a couple people who have left us early this year already. And Dr. Eric wanted to mention
that. First of all, Lemmy Kilmister of Motorhead, the lead singer of Motorhead. Lemmy is gone, and rest in peace, Lemmy. And then just last night we found out about David Bowie. The great David Bowie has passed away from cancer at the age of 69. So shout out to both of them.
Also, a personal favorite of mine, Angus Scrimm, 89-year-old who starred in the Phantasm movies. Thoughts and prayers go out to his family as well. Horror icon, and all three of those men just left
greatly
us.
Missed, and it's a tough way to start the new year, but here we go.
Yeah, we pay our respects to them as well as we hammer this home in the final stretch here, and we're going to be, we're going to be covering the NL West here in our final 2016 preview, and we're going to dive right into the Arizona Diamondbacks. Potentially two huge moves by these snakes. Zach Greinke. Stolen from the Dodger Nation.
Still unbelievable to Dodger fans that Zach Greinke has left.
The doctor is in shock still, my friends. And as I comfort him here, it doesn't get any better when I tell him they've also acquired Shelby Miller from Atlanta Braves. It did cost them Ender Inciarte and some top prospects to get him, though. So basically, that they've just topped off the rotation with these two guys, and big moves for them. But as we look at the rest of their team, in left we have David Peralta, center A.J. Pollock, in right field Yasmani Tomas.
Solid outfield.
Pretty solid for sure.
David Peralta led the National League with 10 triples last year.
Yes, very impressive outfield there. Tomas came into his own, the Cuban outfielder, after his short stint.
And Pollock had an all-star year.
Pollock, obviously, another strong year. Jake Lamb hopefully can stay healthy. If he does, he is their third baseman. Nick Ahmed, man's shortstop. Chris Owings, second base. Aaron Hill is a backup. And then, of course, the ever great Paul Goldschmidt.
Paul Goldschmidt, not only one of the finest players in baseball, one of the finest people you'll meet. And the only hesitation I have on this team is, who are they going to bat behind Goldschmidt? He hits third. Right now, it's Peralta, and maybe that'll work. But I'd like to see them get another slugging player to hit behind Goldschmidt.
I think that's the only thing that maybe they might be lacking, but I don't think they'll have any shortage of pieces to move. One of the best young systems in the game, and that's why they were able to acquire Shelby Miller. Wellington Castillo will be their starting catcher, and Gosowicz.
Ryan Gosowicz. Or Tuffy Gosowicz.
Tuffy Gosowicz looks like he may be the backup. And here's this rotation, folks, that we're going to name them top to bottom here. Zach Greinke leads it off. Runner-up to the National League Cy Young, much to the chagrin of the doctor. Shelby Miller is number 2, could be an ace of any team. Patrick Corbin slides to 3 now. Ruby De La Rosa, strong pitcher, had a great year last year, is the 4th. Can you believe that?
That's
4th pitcher.
Incredible.
Was it Robbie Ray?
Robbie Ray.
Probably the 5th. Anderson, I think, is the last
Robbie
name.
Ray averaged 8.5 strikeouts in 23 starts last year.
5th starter, folks.
Yeah.
5th starter.
That's a tough rotation. You can't beat that rotation.
That's going to be very tough to beat. And in this tough NL West, it definitely released, just like the NL Central, you got 3 really, really strong teams in this NL West. Then you got Brad Ziegler, who actually did a really solid job for them. Bumping. What was the closer of the start the year for the Diamondbacks? Escaping us right now.
Yeah, he went to the Mets eventually. Addison Reed.
Addison Reed, yes.
Yeah. I think they need another closer. Maybe Ziegler can do it.
Yeah, it's potential. I mean, I'm sure you're glad they didn't get Chapman, right? The Dodgers would be sweating it out pretty good.
Yeah, Ziegler only had 2 blown saves last year, so I may be underrating him. He is solid.
The Diamondbacks finished 3rd at 79 and 83. I think I'm a little bit with you as far as the big bat. I think you get one more big bat that might put them over the top. I've been swinging back and forth. I have them number 2, though, in this division. I have them finishing 2nd.
Okay.
But I think the Dodgers are right there. I think that could easily flip-flop, but what do you have, Matt?
Well, MC, this will surprise you and probably a lot of the listeners, especially all my friends who work for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I picked the Diamondbacks to win that division and move on to the World Series.
I think a big injury away, though, to one of those bats is going to, or
could
pitchers
be,
could
but,
possibly do some damage. But yes, that's not a bad pick. I certainly wouldn't say that. They're definitely going to the playoffs. Is barring any injuries, I think that's a pretty safe bet. So we got them slotted away. We're going to move on to the Colorado Rockies, who finished 5th at 68-94. They lost Justin Morneau. I don't know if he's retiring. I'm not sure.
I heard he is going to retire now.
And potentially on the cusp, I can't confirm this. Gerardo Parra probably is going to sign with them. I think barring a physical, which could be a precursor to a deal that hopefully will help their pitching staff of one of their outfielders. And for some reason, they want to move them. But and that outfield consists currently of, it's a solid outfield, of Corey Dickerson in left, Charlie Blackmon, Dr. Eric's favorite player on the Rockies, in center. Well, maybe not when you have Carlos Gonzalez, the real favorite player of Dr. Eric Lenneberg, who helped him win his World Series after yours truly dropped him after a few games off the waiver wire. Whoever dropped him off the waiver wire, not Bright. Wasn't me, at least at first. That rounds out a solid outfield, and why you would sign Parra, I don't know, but I'm sure there's a deal possibly involving that Cargo, and if it is, they need pitching. So, but look at this infield, very solid as it stands right now. Nolan Arenado is at third.
Led the National League in RBIs.
Incredible player, incredible young player. Jose Reyes, who with the Tulowitzki deal to the Blue Jays was acquired in the middle of the year. DJ LeMahieu, great young hitting second baseman for them. Ben Paulson, who, due to Justin Morneau's injury, basically had a solid season for them. He's now their starting first baseman.
And it looks like he'll only get better at this point.
Yep. And we have Nick Hundley at starting catcher, another solid player.
Yeah, 300 this year. He also hit 5 triples like Francisco Cervelli.
Could you imagine? He might have been on your team, right?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yes, that's how you know that for sure. And was it Garneau possibly their backup there?
Dustin Garneau.
Dustin Garneau, I don't want to butcher his name. And here's where it gets dicey for me. I mean, that's a great offense, don't get me wrong, but the pitching starts with Jorge De La Rosa as their ace, Jordan Lyles, number 2, Chatwood, how do you say his first name? Tyler Chatwood. Chad Bettis at 4, Chris Russin is the 5th starter, possibly Gray. Is it Jonathan Gray?
John Gray, yeah.
John Gray potentially could be the 5th starter. Adam Ottavino is their closer, which...
let's not get excited about that.
That's currently their closer, and I don't know. I got them slotted. Unfortunately, I see their offense superior than the 4th place team I picked. But their pitching, I have them in a cellar.
I've got them in 4th place, fighting for 4th place with the other team we'll talk about.
And I would like to see him do something with pitching because I don't hate the Rockies. I just would like to see, for the nature of baseball, I'd love to see a Cinderella story from them again one year.
Too.
But unfortunately, right now I have them at 5th. If you disagree, send us a tweet, send us a message. Especially Dr. Eric, he wants to hear from you. We're going to go on to, speaking of Dr. Eric, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Number 1, what was their record?
Their record was 92-70.
Right on the spot. Pulled that right out. And they lost Zach Greinke, unfortunately. Dr. Eric bawling in his
I still haven't
sea of
been
tears.
Able to come to grips with that.
Potentially, possibly losing Howie Kendrick to that same Diamondback team. We don't know, but he's definitely probably gone from the
I've been
Dodgers.
hearing that for the last couple of days. He does live in Phoenix, so they're really making a pitch to get him.
Possibly will happen. But as Casimir Girl 26, I believe, tweeted us, Scott Casimir in the rotation of the Los Angeles Dodgers is their major move
and I say, so
of this
what?
offseason. And that is not enough to Mr. Lenneberg. As we look at their outfield, Carl Crawford, hopefully healthy for the whole year. If he stays there, he's in left. Jock Peterson, potentially all or nothing.
Outstanding defensive player, the all or nothing will end this season.
New all or nothing. It was going to need to. Mattingly couldn't save him, though. And he has gone to the Marlins. And Yasiel Puig in right field.
Now, I don't believe he's going to be there come opening day. They're trying to trade him. Yeah, I could be wrong, though. He has great potential. The guy's only, 25 years old. So,
as of this step chart, that puts Andre Ethier as the fourth outfielder.
I don't believe Andre's going to be back. I really don't.
You don't think so?
No, he really came on strong last year. He helped them win that division, but I don't see him coming back.
Potentially for pitching, or are you thinking that maybe they can try to put together a big trade
That's
trying to
what
get
I'm thinking.
some?
Yeah, get some pitching.
Still strong offense. You got there's a Jake Turner recovering from left knee surgery. Justin Turner, I'm sorry. Do you think he'll be ready for opening day?
He will be. I don't know that he's a cleanup hitter like they had him at the end of the season last year. They have a gaping hole at cleanup, but Justin will be back.
Redbeard. Corey Seager, the great young shortstop.
Cannot say enough about Corey Seager. A 986 OPS in his 27 games last year.
They would not ship him to the Miami Marlins,
and they
even
would
for
not,
Jose Fernandez.
They would not have won the division without Corey Seager.
Corey
I'll
Seager,
say that.
I think that's smart to hang on to that player for sure.
Yeah.
One of the favorite sliding masters of the game, Chase Utley, Dr. Eric's favorite assassin. He is
Chase Utley's a hard ball
baseman.
player, good old-fashioned player, and that's all there is to it.
He hated Chase Utley until he magically became a Dodgers player this past season. Chase Utley made second. Adrian Gonzalez rounds that out. Incredible player.
Continually, 300 hitter, 30 homers, 100 RBIs.
Definitely. He's their first baseman. Van Slyke is Scott Van Slyke, a backup. We got Grandal, if he's healthy, from shoulder surgery, should start the year. You think that obviously is their starting catcher. The personal catcher of Clayton Kershaw, A.J. Ellis, will be the backup. And
you don't know, A.J. really had a great postseason, and he may end up being the starter next year. It's hard to
never know. Yeah. Grandal is a pretty strong catcher when he's healthy, though. Yeah. He came along, I think, pretty good. A good stretch, I believe. He hit for the cycle, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, one of the games last year. The rotation starts, and if your Dr. Eric ends at Clayton Kershaw, not enough can be said about one of the greatest pitchers in the game.
One of the greatest in history by the time he's done.
And he may be right. Dominant pitcher. Struggled a little bit at the start, but very dominant, as he usually ends up. And he is really the best pitcher on the Dodgers by far.
He's the best pitcher in baseball.
Hard to argue. Not the Cy Young, though. Jake Arrieta. Scott Kazmir, Eric's favorite player, is the second starter on this.
And that shows you how far the Dodgers have fallen. It's Scott Kazmir, their number 2 starter.
Kazmir girl is going to come after you. Be careful. Brett Anderson.
Number 3. Had a good year. I can't downgrade him.
How do you say his first name? Maeda, right? But what's his first name?
It's Hayama Maeda. So just call him Maeda. That's what everybody else is going to call him.
He doesn't even know his own players, folks. Maeda is the 4th starter. I cannot pronounce his name. Sorry. The Ryu, you got to come on.
Hyun-Jin
Ryu. He is number 5. Potentially should be ready to start for opening day. Alex Wood, Brandon McCarthy obviously is not going to be ready till the All-Star break. Bolsinger also in that mix. So, yeah, this is a mishmash rotation, my friend. And
got one ace starter and a bunch of number 4 starters bringing it up.
In a sea of tears.
Yes.
In a sea of tears that would bring Chuck Boyer to smile to his face.
Chuck's going to love this.
Yes, he's going to love hearing this. And Kenley Jansen is the closer of this staff. Will he get as many save chances? They better make him.
Well, hopefully. He's lights out, as you know.
Kenley Jansen, obviously. So
with Chris Hatcher, who came on strong to be the setup man.
Till I see another move probably in that rotation, because I know they're probably not done. I'd hate to see that for your team. I don't know if I would really hate it. But I have them 3rd in the division. I don't see them until they get that pitching staff a little bit more shored up.
I have them 3rd also, and my 3rd place is barely above the 4th and 5th place teams. So I got the Dodgers dropping big time this year.
No way.
We'll see.
I think that offense is still too strong, especially considering who is at 4 and 5. And one of those teams who finished 4th, the San Diego Padres, at 74 and 88. They did some house cleaning here, trading Yadier Alonso, right?
Yadier Alonso
for Drew Pomeranz in a deal. Joaquin Benoit shipped to the Mariners, where he's still behind Cishek. Craig Kimbrell is now a Boston Red Sox player. Cabrera is also gone. Oswaldo, I think, is their former starting shortstop.
Yeah.
Only really one they added besides Pomeranz that I have listed is John Jay, former St. Louis Cardinal. So,
our moans can be heard throughout.
Yeah, so before I give what my placing them, I'm going to run down their team. We have, is it Andrew Dickerson there in left field?
Andrew Dickerson.
Melvin Upton Jr.
Melvin Upton, formerly known as B.J. Upton.
B.J. no more.
Sometimes referred to as P.S. Upton, but he's now Melvin Jr.
Okay, Melvin Jr. is at center. His brother is gone. We don't know where he's signing, which would be another notable exit, Justin Upton. Kemp.
Don't forget Matt Kemp.
In right field. Eric still loves him, folks, even though he's no longer a Dodger. Helped you out in fantasy.
Yeah, he came on.
Can't throw him under the bus because he did help you still. So I think he loves you back. He's in right field. How do you say his name? Solarte, so I don't butcher it at third base.
Yangervis
Solarte. I think he's actually going to help him pretty good. I think if he can explode. I think he's a sleeper on this. They acquired him from the Yankees. Alexei Amarista at shortstop. Corey Spangenberg
at second base.
At second base. This is the hardest to pronounce team outside of some of the other favorites I've had. Will Myers, that's an easy one at first base. He moves from the outfield to first. Derek Norris is their catcher. Austin Hedges backup. Possibly Christian Bethancourt.
Right? That is not a lineup to be excited about.
No, and I think that's pretty scary considering the rotation is this good, which starts with James Shields. Although he had his struggles, I think, as ERA, right?
Yeah.
A little bit, not notably for him. I see him bouncing back, but he needs an offense behind him. Tyson Ross is slotted number 2. Andrew Kashner 3. Robert Erlin, I believe, is 4. Pomeranz could be in that fifth starter mix. Ray, I think, is also in there. He's potentially in there as well. Yeah. No closer. They traded both of them, except for, I think, who they have slotted.
Odrisamar Despaigne, who was a starter the last 2 years, but they got him slotted to be closer now.
OD.
OD
is how I would say it, since I have no clue.
Yeah.
Good job there, sir. So, if not for the Rockies' horrible pitching staff, I would have these guys last, because that's a terrible offense there. I have them 4th. They finished 4th last year. I have them remaining 4.
I've got them dead last. Last.
I can't really argue with you, because I think both teams are going to struggle, and unless you do some moves, Padre fans, I don't see it getting any better for you. You clearly have wiped out your teams of any major players, so I wouldn't disagree with that dead last either.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be between them and the Rockies. And our final team on our 2016 preview show, it is now an even numbered year. And what did they do, folks? Finished second last year at 84 and 78, but look at these moves they've made. Adding Jeff Samardzija, Johnny Cueto, Denard Span. I think all they've lost is Nori Aoki to the Seattle Mariners. And this is a team that finished second last year with 84 and 78. What will they do now with the Shark and Cueto behind them? Listen to this, folks. Right now, as of now, we have Denard Span left field. I think when healthy, he was a solid contributor to that Nationals team 2 years ago. Even this past year, he's in left now for them. I think that's a sleeper move if he stays healthy. And a bargain deal for the Giants, too, if it works out. Angel Pagan, man, center field. And Hunter Pence in right if he can stay healthy. If these guys stay healthy, it's a strong team. Offensively, no question. Matt Duffy at third. Brandon Crawford with his extension. He is the shortstop. Joe Panik had a great year last year. At second base, Brandon Belt up and down. He's their first baseman. I don't think
Belt has hit his ceiling yet either.
I don't think so either. I think this is what's scary about this team. Buster Posey, the ever-consistent Buster Posey, who I acquired from Dr. Eric in a trade.
Buster Posey is the Mike Trout of the National League, in my opinion.
Definitely. Andrew Susak is his backup. But listen to this rotation, folks. We got Madison Bumgarner, and he is the first. He's the first starter of this the staff here. He's the ace. Johnny Cueto at 2. Mind you. Jeff Samardzija at 3. Can you imagine slotting the Shark at 3 under rotation?
You got 3 guys right there that'd be number 1 anywhere else.
Incredible. Yeah, no question. Jake Peavy now slides to 4th at this point in his career. That is a great 4th starter to have. And he had a bounce back year, I think. And then battling out for that 5th spot, Matt Cain and Charlie Heston,
Chris
right?
Heston.
Or Chris Heston.
Yeah, Charlie Heston is the actor.
Charlton Heston, yeah.
Chris Heston. Now, Chris, he lives by that sinker ball. He's got a cutter that always goes around the knees. If it gets up, he gets hit hard. But he pitched a no-hitter last year. So, again, MC, he should have been in Cy Young race, according to you.
Evidently not, because I just called him Charlton Heston almost. And Santiago Castilla, correct?
Yeah, that's
is their closer. Romo still is their setup man. I got him number 1. I think you just added 2 major starters. That's the dream of any team, to add 2 quality starters like this. Can you imagine the Dodgers wanted to do that and failed? So they have the spot the Dodgers probably would have had they made those 2 moves. Number 1.
Well,
they win this division, in my opinion.
And as I picked the Arizona Diamondbacks, I picked the Giants number 2, albeit an even number year. I don't think that matters. I got the Giants number 2 in a close race, start to finish with the Diamondbacks.
I know why you picked the Diamondbacks. You've been seen wearing Diamondback clothes, supposedly on social media.
Yeah, I was forced to do that. Chuck Boyer forced me to do that.
Supposedly. Chuck, thank you, because now he is supposedly a Diamondback fan picking them number 1 in this division.
Not a fan, just a realist.
Yeah, so I got the Giants number 1. Prove me wrong. If you have a problem with anything either of us have suggested, I challenge you to send us some feedback at The Fast Pitch MLB on Twitter, Facebook.com/The Fast Pitch. Or please go to www.thebeststation.net and check out all the great podcasts there. Without Craig Best, we would not be here, and without you fans listening, we would have no platform to talk to anybody. So we want to thank you all for listening. This has been a great show, and again, we can't wait for this season to start. It's only 40 days of spring training, 82 to opening day as of recording time here, and we want to hear from you, because this is roaring here. We got this baseball, fever, and it's coming, folks. So
we got
let
a fever
us know.
for more baseball,
and we're going to have some great shows lined up here in the future. As Eric said, we're going to have Duffy Dyer coming on. He's going to be our first guest of 2016.
That's right.
And if it's not next show, it'll probably be the following one. But a lot of great news we'll be following up with. So we want to thank you all for staying with us for not only this National League preview, the previous American League preview. Long shows, but great informative shows. And as you know, as we'll come back with the FFT shows, these are crucial.
Yeah.
Crucial to your fantasy leagues. And anybody who wins a baseball league knows knows how tough it is.
That's right.
And you got to know what you're doing there. And we want to thank you all again so very much for joining us here in these preview shows.
And thank you all, folks, for listening, and have a pleasant week again, wherever you may be. We will be back soon.
This has been a presentation of The Best Station. The best music for the best audience. TheBestStation.net.